Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So this is kind of an interesting topic about the sorry syndrome. So if you suffer for it, comment below. I say I'm sorry a lot. And it was really interesting looking through different dating advice things. A lot of the techniques that they tell you are pretty narcissistic. Our narcissist doesn't like to apologize. And they also say, as far as apologies, for it to be an authentic apology, that you need to explain exactly what's going on. Like, I'm sorry for cheating on you. I'm sorry, as opposed to I'm sorry I hurt you, as to really taking accountability for certain things. Sometimes that's hard because we're like, we know what happened and we just have to validate that we understand what they're feeling, what we did wrong. So don't put your feelings onto somebody else. Acknowledge what you did wrong. But we often say, I'm sorry. Uh, you know, when we're walking through a door, we may say, oh, sorry. Like we feel that they're in their way. Did they feel that way about us? Would they apologize? Did they feel that they were in our way? So sometimes they feel that it's low self-esteem that might be bringing this apology. A lot of people feel that you can be more liked and trusted if you say you're sorry. So some of us have grown up. Say you're sorry, say you're sorry. Some of us are religious. We want to apologize for things. Like we understand, but when we're walking through a door and we're saying I'm sorry, or we go to reach for something and oh sorry, we're apologizing for everything, counting out change. Sorry it's taking so long. Sorry this, sorry that. If we go to reach for a bag and somebody was going to help us too, we're like sorry, but they're not saying that to us. So what is this sorry syndrome? Why do we say it? And so as far as the dating advice things, they're like, stop saying you're sorry. And the more I've looked into these relationship experts and the things they say, they're like, don't communicate so well, don't always be available, don't say you're sorry, don't this, don't know, whatever. It's a lot of it's narcissistic, but we have to look at our self-esteem because for one thing, it's probably been shot down. If you're with a narcissist, we're trying to rebuild it. So as we rebuild it, if you suffer from this sorry syndrome, let's talk about it a little bit more. Why do we say it? We have to understand we can't always make everybody happy. We don't have to apologize for that. We need to learn to accept ourselves and the decisions we make without apologizing for it. Sorry, I can't come. I can't come Sunday. So instead of saying, sorry, I can't come, instead of just saying straight out, I can't come. Like tonight, they wanted to walk through my townhome because the mortgage company is assessing things and I haven't folded my laundry yet and I'm tired. So I told them that tonight wouldn't be a good night. I didn't explain it. I didn't say sorry. I just said tonight's not going to be a good night. We have to start talking like that because as a teacher, I have learned when you're more succinct, because if we give them reasons, then people are going to judge that. If I said, sorry, my laundry isn't folded yet, they can come back with, oh, that doesn't matter. And then you still feel obligated. It's going to make me feel uncomfortable because it's not put away. Or what am I apologizing for? It's not in the lease that I have to do that. There's other people, they just know my place is put together nicely. So they want to like show it off to the mortgage people, but I don't have to apologize for that. And it's something I need to break myself as well, because we feel that we're, in a sense, responsible. A lot of us look at what our narcissist did to us, and we've we understand other people hurt, you know, and we can't be responsible for everybody's little idiosyncrasies of trying to walk through the door. If we bump them, it's okay to say sorry, but if we're both like looking, you can kind of tell who's going to go first, or you can say go first, or do you mind if I go first? Or instead of saying sorry I'm rambling on, we should say thank you for listening. So why did we say I'm sorry for rambling on? Now, one thing I've had to break, and I've even told my second narcissist because he's like, just say it. Because I'm always saying, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Oh, hey, can I tell you something? Just say it. He's like, just say it. So sometimes they can be good listeners or tolerant of what you're going to say. But why did I always felt like I had to ask permission from our narcissist? I did this with my first one too. We feel that they're not listening to us. And we want to make sure that we have their attention because it's really odd. I don't do, and I told him I don't do this with all my other friends. Every now and then we do it. You know, can I tell you something? It's us feeling we're interrupting people. And should you feel that way with your lover? No, we should feel free to just say what's on your mind. And they shoot our self-esteem down to where we feel that we have to make sure they're listening. And there's something wrong in the narcissistic relationship that changes the way we talk, the way we interact, the boundaries. If I got blown off by a friend as much as I did my narcissist, I don't know what I was thinking. But we think about that love bombing stage and they give us all these excuses. We need to look through all those excuses and say, this is bullshit. How many times have you said, I'm sorry I'm blowing up your phone. I'm worried about you. I'm sorry I'm calling so many times, as opposed to, what is up? Why won't you get back to me? I'm worried about you. You said you'd be home 2 days ago, whatever your situation is. We're always apologizing. And I've noticed that when we do that, especially with narcissists, I haven't really delved into it with regular people, but it gives them a power to decide if they forgive us or not. And a lot of times they like to toy with our emotions during that time. So they're like, she's freaking out. I got time to wait. And they get a kick out of how much we freak out. There's also that codependency I'm studying a little deeper to where, you know, we do have some reactive abuse. The downward spiral is from both of us. And the more I go through YouTube, there's a lot of good information out there, but be careful on some of the other information that you're getting. A lot of them paint this picture that it's like this monster, and they can be monstrous. It's like a tiger. When a tiger isn't hungry, they're pretty not safe, but safe-ish, to where they're not going to attack as much. There's times other animals can walk by, but when that tiger is hungry, all hell breaks it loose. They don't care what animal they're going to chase, whichever is closest, available, easiest. They try to catch, I don't know, a zebra. That zebra puts up too much of a fight, they'll go after a giraffe. They'll just switch it up. Both are good meat. So when we're talking about the new supply, it's a tiger. Like, do I eat zebra tonight or do I have giraffe? I don't care. I'm hungry. And that's where the narcissist is with the new supply. It's just different supply, just a different meal to fulfill their needs. And so there are safe times around a narcissist, but the closer you are, you're playing with fire. Like, don't go around a tiger. But if you were to fall asleep next to a tiger that had a Thanksgiving meal super stuffed, completely full, and he doesn't have any room in his belly, don't try it. I'm not sure, but you could probably fall asleep next to it, or at least walk past it. But if that tiger is hungry and you're sleeping next to it, even though you were sweet to it for so many years, it's going to eat you. And that's what the narcissist is when they're hungry and they pick a supply, they're going to devour that supply. They're going to maybe nibble at it or devour it in one gulp. But narcissists, I don't know, it's just unpredictable. It's predictable that they'll be unpredictable. It's predictable you can't count on them. There are times they're sweet as hell. They go through different cycles, and it's always going to be a cycle though. So just like that tiger's going to be full, it's going to be famished, it's going to be full, it's going to be famished. And if you're in that relationship, you're always risking to get devoured, because a narcissist is never fully full. And their cycle brings them back into that hunger. And if you don't give them what satisfies them, they're in that, you're in their eyes, you're that zebra, and they'll go after a giraffe. So don't compare which is better, a zebra or a giraffe. You know, one might be a little better than the other, but in a famished state, either is just as good. And they can either trade up or trade down or stay on par. But don't worry so much about, if you're that zebra, that tiger took off to take that giraffe down, you survived. You survived. You got away. And if you can think of that analogy, you know, uh, you can feel sorry for the giraffe, the new supply. But if you focus on what just happened, you were saved. And as we rebuild our self-esteem, try not to say you're sorry so much unless it is a really, truly legitimate, valid reason. There are times we need to apologize. We do things wrong, but if you're holding the door for someone and it slips out of your hand, don't, I'm sorry, and you go and get it, just say, oops, let me open that again. Try to change the way you talk, because we're taking on so much accountability for things. Like if that door slipped out of your hand, just know people don't hate you because of it. And you can be kind and say, oh, let me grab that, instead of sorry. Because as the narcissist sees our apologies, it's seen as a weakness. And if the narcissist sees it, other people probably do too. And there are times I catch myself saying it too much. Like today, there was, I subbed. I'm a teacher, but during my planning time, I can make extra money if I fill in. So there was another teacher that was out. I go to sub for that hour, and the paraprofessional was pretty irritated because by now I'm the fourth sub that day. And during COVID, she was allowed to sub, run the classroom herself. She's lining them up to go to recess, and I show up. She's like, I can handle it. And I'm like, well, I get paid to do this. So I didn't know if it was obligated or not, but it's pretty good money. So I ended up going. She's like, that's fine. But you could tell she was really upset. She was upset because she even said in the break room, remember in Pretty Woman when Richard Gere slept with Julia Roberts and left the money on the table? She's like, I felt like what Julia Roberts would have felt. Kind of like raped with, or used. You were just a prostitute, because she used to be able to sub. Now she's like, there's got to be a certified teacher out there. Like, I can't handle this class at recess with other certified teachers and parapros out there. She felt discounted, but I told her that, it could be some legality thing. Maybe you do need a parapro and a certified teacher out there at that time. I don't know the legalities of that. So there could be a legal reason that I had to be out there. But they trusted her last year. There's a sub shortage. But my point is I kept saying, I'm sorry. I know that's bothering you. And I'm sorry. I probably said I'm sorry 10, 12 times, because I could relate. Like, I know you're upset. But I took on that response, and she's like, it's not you. It's not you. It's just, and I'm like, I know, but I'm sorry. And I took on the situation as my fault. And I knew she wasn't mad at me. So I could have worded that differently, because it also kind of makes her have a responsibility. No, it's nothing you did. So we have to dive deep into why did we say that? And I could have worded it differently. And it probably would have been more supportive. Another thing I saw is sometimes when we say, I'm sorry, it's when we don't, it, the way they said it is it relieves you from obligation to fix it. Well, I had no way to fix it. I didn't know how to, but I took on that responsibility to apologize for a situation that I didn't create. So I could have just, I don't even know. And that's the thing, there's a learning process for all of us. But if we blow someone off, we should say we're sorry for that. But if we miss somebody's call, they called us and we're like, I'm sorry I wasn't available. Just say something like, it was great that you called me. I'm so glad I get to call you back now. Or I can call you back in about 2 hours. Thanks for calling. We have to stop the sorry syndrome because it puts unnecessary accountability onto us for stuff we didn't do. And if it's not a valid reason, you know, if I don't know, broke your china, yeah, I should apologize for that. But if I'm setting your table and I put the napkins on the counter so I could wipe down the table, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We have to stop saying I'm sorry and just realize people like us, regardless of where we put the napkins or at recess. It had nothing to do with whether she liked me or not. I already knew it, but it's a personality thing that we kind of need to start changing because it gave our narcissist power too. And use I'm sorry when it's valid. And when it's not, instead of like they said, when we're self-conscious, like I'm talking too much, I'm rambling on, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Just say thanks for listening. Because then that person appreciates that we recognize what they did for us. Just a little twist. So I'm sorry for rambling. How about I say thanks for listening? I can't wait to see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. One-on-ones are available, and I love those topic requests. I'll see you soon.